All right. So I have the pleasure, the privilege of talking to one of my favorite clients, Isolina, and she is from the Lavarano Lakehouse, which is a very, very successful Airbnb. She's bought a Bunkie Life, I believe it's a 2019 with loft and a bathroom bunkie.
Yep.
Like spring last year, I think, right?
Yep.
And so we're gonna talk about beginning, middle, end of the journey and the crazy ride that we've all been on for this past year. So I guess give us the before. So you did you have any experience with Airbnbs prior to the bunkies?
Yes, I did. I have a property. My husband and I have a property on Captiva Island off the coast of Florida. And we purchased that property last January. And I put it on Airbnb right away. And it's been super successful. So that's where my journey with Airbnb started. I followed your contest, which was like, I was obsessed with it. So good for you. So I kept trying to watch everything and getting like points and everything. And I became obsessed with your bunkies, essentially, because I had been thinking about putting something on our property and didn't really like what I saw out there from like the big box stores or anything. And because I was watching YouTube videos on tiny houses, like that's what I envisioned, like a tiny house type of bunkie. And when I came across your Bunkie Life contest on Facebook, actually, I started looking at your website and I'm like, wow. And that's what sparked me to buy it when I didn't win the bunkie.
Sorry for your loss. So, and did you watch, I think, was it last year that Carrie and I did a presentation on the Airbnb thing? Did you watch that video or?
Yes, I watched all your videos.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I've been watching all your videos actually, Isolina. So you bought the bunkie. I think we delivered at some point in the spring, right?
So it was supposed to be delivered in the spring, but of course, COVID interfered with that. It was delivered, I think, end of spring, because we postponed it. So it was because of we were getting a new septic being put in. And so we postponed it. And then the bunkie was built in July, early July. Yeah.
And then tell us how that went. So I believe you had your own contractor that built it, or do you build it yourself?
No, we hired one of the contractors that you recommended, and he did a great job putting them up. And before that, it was your recommendation. It was interesting because I remember when I was looking at the 2019 loft bunkie, I was like, where can I fit a bathroom in it? And I was thinking, oh my gosh, if I take space from here, it's going to, because I was already visualizing what the design would be. And you were great. And I reached out to you via email. You responded right away. And you said, well, instead of compromising the space inside the bunkie, how about paying X amount of dollars for this bathroom bunkie? And that was my solution. And it was such an inexpensive solution. And it's worked out beautifully for our bunkie and our Airbnb.
Because I gathered from the videos, because I'm talking about all your videos. So Isolina sent in a lot of cool videos of the Airbnb and the kind of promotional material. I'm going to probably share that as well.
Thank you.
Like you're a visual, like you are a creative type person. Like every space, every little function in these bunkie has a cool story behind it. It's really cool. And I because you're not the only person that looks at the bunkie and goes, well, where can I squeeze the toilet in? Right? It's intuitively what makes sense. And I always try to steer people towards, hey, like, no one really wants to sleep where they poop and poop where they sleep. It's just, you want to mix, separate those two things. And so the concept of like, let's have a separate bunkie that you just walk up the door and then you pop into it. People feel that that's weird, but has it been, I don't want to put words in your mouth here, but was it a good choice in retrospect, having made that choice to separate the two?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the bathroom bunkie is, self-contained. They even though there's a composting toilet, they don't feel compromised that they don't have somewhere to shower, somewhere to brush their teeth. It's a self-contained bathroom. I made it into like a self-contained off-grid bathroom. And so it ended up working out really well. We have it situated just a foot, I think, away from the bunkie.
Yep.
And that was because we really wanted to make sure we were complying with bylaws related to, space requirements, not attaching things. Otherwise, it would be considered a bigger footprint. And so it worked out beautifully. And I think, obviously, if you've got bladder issues, or you have to go to the bathroom a lot in the middle of the night, it might be a little bit of a pain to go outside. Yep. But what we tried to do to make up for that is we provide really comfy terry cloth slippers for people that are disposable, and they can walk to the bathroom with them, or they can change out of their shoes, so that they don't have to worry about having to put on their boots or things like that, because they're disposable, the slippers, so it doesn't matter. And it hasn't been really an issue. Not one of my guests, and we've had, over 40 something guests already. Not one has made that an issue about having to walk out.
I can see how you're getting the premium pricing with the terry cloth.
And robes too.
Okay, cool. So, well, let's get into that. So you have 40 guests already. How are the reviews been? Do you remember your first guest, and what have you learned having churned through 40 guests now?
I learned that, and I've learned it so far with my other property as well, but communication is key. Being able to provide what I would like was something I factored in as well. I mean, I like to travel pre-COVID, and, I like going to nice places. If I'm going to do camping, it would be glamping, and it better be really nice glamping, because otherwise I wouldn't go. And I was trying to find a niche market and what the people in that niche market would be looking for. So I figured that by calling it like a getaway for two, and I tag it as a romantic getaway for two, but I've had lots of friends come up, like two girlfriends coming up. Like this weekend, it's two girlfriends coming up to have a girls' weekend. And they booked pre-COVID, so they were allowed to come and stay, because there was an exception that any short-term rentals could be honored that were booked prior to the lockdown. Yep. So I marketed it towards that population. So it narrowed it down. And so what do? I give things that make them feel like they're getting an experience, not just a stay, if that makes any sense.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And, do you mind if we talk specifics in terms of what you're charging?
Sure.
So
sure.
Keys, I would usually charge like $70-ish, $90 a night, and I noticed you and Elmate and a bunch of the other people that bought bunkies last year are just like, no, we're going for the premium dollar, Dave. So you seem to be getting it too. So tell us about that. What are you charging a night?
So obviously, I mean, the key to starting an Airbnb, and I learned this through Captiva, is you need to have a few reviews, because people are reluctant to stay at a property that doesn't have reviews. That's number one. So how do you get your first reviews? Well, you've got to draw them in. And so for me, it was, being very reasonable with my pricing. And so when I first started renting the bunkie, we were charging $95 a night, plus a $50 cleaning fee. And people were renting it. And then interestingly enough, one of my guests, a few months ago, so it wasn't even just recently, a few months ago, she was a marketing manager for a major hotel chain. And what she told me was, you are really underpricing your bunkie. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, well, people are getting like COVID crazy, staying in their houses, or if they're downtown condo dwellers, they don't have balconies. They're basically looking out a window. So you're selling them like a different experience other than going to a hotel, let's say for a romantic getaway. And you are underpricing that, she said, because, a lower grade hotel room cost for a night would be $150. She goes, you could easily get $150. And I was still gun shy at that point. So I upped it to $120, and people were booking it. And then just recently I upped it to 150, and I don't know if it was just coincidence. But I got like 4 bookings, like literally the day after I raised the price. So I was like, oh, why didn't I do it sooner? But anyway.
That's my experience too. Every year I'd creep it up a couple bucks, and I'm kicking myself because I kind of more or less shut my Airbnbs down just due to COVID and the complications of being a dad and everything going on. But that is exciting. That's so exciting. And I know Elmate's like charging similar, like nice premium prices. As someone who loves that, I'm applauding you guys. So I guess I'd love to hear, it's been a great first run. In terms of where you're at right now, are you kind of where you were hoping to be in terms of like, number of guests and positive reviews and income and such? Where are you kind of compared to where you're hoping to be?
So well, I actually I've exceeded my expectations, to be honest. And we haven't even gone through a summer yet. And the only promise I'm going to keep to my husband about opening it up as an Airbnb is that it didn't interfere with our time at the lake. Because even though our bunkie, as you could see, I don't know if you could see it in the video, but is set back in our property. We have a lakefront property. But the bunkie guests can see the lake from where the bunkie is set up. And there's a deck, like, for them to sit on for the view. But when they're staying here, they have full access to the dock. I'm undisturbed. We will not go on the dock when they're here. And they have free access to the bonfire pit. So that's tricky in the summer because we like the dock. So because I work from here in the summer, because I'm able to work remotely, my plan for the summer is to rent it from Sunday afternoons when we usually go home to possibly Thursday or Friday morning checkout, and instead of the weekends. So just reversing the availability. And then after Labor Day, going back to it being available on the weekends.
Yeah, and it's like the cool thing about Airbnb is I noticed this past year with COVID, like if I had a Friday free and no one was coming to see them or nothing was happening, I could just open up the calendar, and it would always get booked up, like usually within like 10 to 20 minutes, right? And if you were like, oh, I don't even feel like going to the cottage this weekend, you could probably just, like, if it was ready, you could probably just open it up and probably maybe not get full price, but like probably book it. That's what the flexibility of Airbnb is. Like, oh, my mom's coming in 2 weeks, I'll just block it off and she can stay. It's awesome for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so that's when do you estimate you'll have kind of paid off the bunkie?
Probably by definitely the summer for sure.
Okay,
that's all in. Because I mean, obviously there's expenses related to building the bunkie, buying it, building it, but there were also expenses related to what we did inside it.
Yeah, you have a lot of sweet extras.
Yeah, so I mean, all in, I would say probably by the end of the summer, we will probably have everything paid off. Yep. In terms of what we invested in it. Yeah, so
I think that's pretty consistent with my experience and with most of our other Airbnb like business clients. Is like you can usually pay the bunkie off in a year or less, and then if you factor in all the extras, you're maybe looking at a year and a bit kind of thing. If that's sounds like
it's all in what you decide to do with it, right? Like, I mean, some people don't have bathing facilities. Some people, you have to go inside another building for a bathroom. So for me, I wanted what would I like? I did it from a selfish perspective. If I was going to glamp in a tiny house, what do I need? And for me, I needed a bathroom. I needed somewhere to bathe, a kitchen, and a separate area for sleeping. Yep. And the 2019 model for me did that, like covered all the bases, and the bathroom bunkie. Cool. I was actually really surprised, pleasantly surprised with the size of the bathroom bunkie. I was so actually, when he put it up, I was like, oh my God, it's so much bigger than I thought. and so it was like, what should I do now? I've got all this space.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's the future for the Lavarano Lakehouse, if I'm saying that correctly?
Well, the future is hopefully we get repeat guests from, and I have a lot of people saying that they want to come back in the summer. I've met so many interesting people. It's interesting. My husband was asking me the other day, would you ever consider putting another bunkie on the property? And I thought, you know what? Probably not, only because, I really love my neighbors and I don't want to alienate them and make them think that they don't have some privacy, with multiple people coming on the property. I love my neighbors, and I make it clear in my Airbnb ad that, this is not the party, tiny house.
Yep.
And if I've got security measures to put in place so that if that happens, most of the time I'm here when my guests are here, which, helps people maintain the rules, of course, but also is helpful if something happens. And with off-grid properties, there's always something that could happen.
Totally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm sure that people have a ton of questions. My main question is, if I want to book with you, how do I do that? If someone watching this video wants to book your place.
Well, they can go on either my Instagram page or my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, all they have to type in the search engine is Lavarano Lakehouse. Okay. And it should pop up, and all the videos. I put up a couple of instructional videos in terms of some of the things I've created for the bunkie, but I also put up tours. So, if they want to see what it looks like inside, what they're getting when they go in, there's a real, tour there. But if you want to go on Airbnb, you just type in my name, Isolina Varano, or even, I guess, you would go to Tiny Ontario, and because that's where we're located, and look for under the unique experience. I think it's under the unique stays category. They've put all the cabins and tiny houses under there, and narrow your search, and we're Lavarano Lakehouse. Cool. So yeah,
our plan is to start a kind of sub page on the Airbnb section of bunkielife.com and have everybody listed there, and different, like basically try to collect all this stuff of everyone who's doing this, right? Starting to be a movement now. There's people in New Brunswick doing it, people in Ontario, and people hopefully soon in BC. So we'll be coast to coast pretty soon. And it's so cool. Just all the innovative things. I learned so much from you guys that I would have never thought of and never come up with. So it's exciting to see that. And once again, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us, your experience so far. And wishing you all the best. Evie and I got to come stay, or maybe Carrie and I.
Definitely.
I don't think it'll be Carrie and I.
Definitely.
The babies are a little.
Yeah. Come with your wife so that you have a getaway from all your brood.
We got to get the young baby eating solid food, and then we'll be there.
Yeah. Perfect. We'd love to have you.
Really, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much for doing this interview.
Thanks, David. Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye for now.